guys, welcome to Chasing a Murder Talking News, and I want to say please take time to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. That way you guys are notified whenever I have a new upload or something that's breaking. So I'm trying my best to continue to cover this story in between everything else I have going on. Thankfully, we have a few reporters that we follow, I follow, who keep us up to date pretty well. And one of those reporters, his name is Justin Lum, and he works for Fox News. So just today, he was able to share documents, and I also gave him another name, the Document Man, and that's because Justin is always one of the first to have the documents attached to the Lori Vallow case. So he's definitely one of the reporters you want to keep up with if you follow this case. And he's been sharing some documents that are quite interesting, and it has to do with a motion and hearing coming up that has to do with some of the evidence attached to this case. So Justin says, in a new filing in the Vallow case, prosecutor Rob Wood says on 4/12, the state received results of the DNA analysis of the debris found on tools seized from Chad Daybell's property. On 4/18, a report received as a reply says possible blood sample from apartment that requires DNA testing. So now we're getting a little bit of hints of some of the evidence that they have, and we're hearing that there's possible evidence coming out of one of the three apartments, possibly the one of three apartments that belong to Lori Vallow, it was Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, Alex Cox, and Lori's niece, Melanie Boudreaux-Powaski. So this kind of gives us hints. You know, what is this blood from? There's a lot of options. I mean, that you could have some type of blood sample in an apartment for. It doesn't necessarily point to foul play, but we are hoping that it is part of the case where the kids go missing and found in the backyard of Chad Daybell, and will help them solve the case and bring justice for these two children. Justin Lum continues writing to say that Wood says, that's the prosecuting attorney, on 4/21, the state notified the defense about the results and further testing. So since they are going with further testing, this leads you to believe that possibly this evidence can help the prosecutor in some way. So this must have the defense and their hair and on the back of their necks standing up. Okay, so the defense wanted their experts to review these materials first, Justin says, and the state complied, saying that the consumptive testing would not be done immediately, asking for names of the defense's experts within 14 days. So this means whatever piece of evidence that they have when they do testing, the consumptive item, when it is tested, it will no longer be any good. It can't be tested again. So, of course, defense is going to want to be there and, have their experts in on this in some way. But, I am not big on law, so we'll have to go to Scott on that one later. I'm sure he'll do a video. In Wood's response, he says that the state does not object to defense experts examining the items and evidence with a reasonable timeline, which makes sense. I mean, you want to be able to test this stuff ASAP. You don't want to take any chances, depending on what it is. We don't know what it is, of anything becoming corroded in any way that they're not able to get results. Also, no objection to the preservation of DNA samples sufficient in size not used for testing. So the documents say the factual background part of it says that Chad and Lori Vallow Daybell have been charged with conspiracy to conceal or and destroy evidence. So this tells you, it gives you a hint that they do have some type of evidence that we don't know about at this time, that they know that they are trying to dispose of. It may not just be the children, there may be other things. Here we go. So Chad Daybell has additional charges of concealment and destruction of evidence. That's very interesting to me. And that evidence is based on the investigation and the deaths of Tylee Ryan and Joshua Vallow, the innocent, beautiful children involved with this case, and the defendant's connection to those deaths are ongoing. So we know this, and we know that Rob Wood now has Miss Smith helping him out, and I feel like she's gonna really help Rob be able to concentrate on the evidence they need to get processed in order to bring, those murder charges, whether it be conspiracy, whatever it may be, because everyone is on the tips of their toes. They're trying to see, is there anything coming out that's going to pretty much bring justice for all these people who lost their lives, who are attached to Lori and Chad Daybell. And many people are losing hope. But at first, I felt their pain. But as I watched Rob Wood having to deal with the defense's circus because they're not good enough to defend their clients without throwing all these ridiculous motions, hiring ridiculous witnesses that don't even know about the case, given their expertise. Well, I feel like Rob Wood is close to doing, at least moving the direction he wanted to move this entire time. He's really had his hands full with this case. This is a huge case with a big spotlight and a lot going on, so it's very difficult. I covered this case. I know how difficult it is, and after a year, and I kid you not, I investigate this case every single day, whether I'm sick or not, at least a few hours a day, but most of the time it's 8 hours a day of investigation and working on the timeline, and I'm still nowhere close to being finished. So I can't imagine what Rob Wood is going through, but they do have help. I'm doing it by myself, so that's the difference. They have a little bit of help, and I'm just doing everything alone, and I try not to, unless it's documents like this, to rely on anybody else for my source. But anyways, enough of that. So what I feel is Rob Wood, he's fixing to bring those charges, guys. Just hang on there, because he wants to make sure he does it right. That's where I feel he's at. I think he wants to be sure that once he throws the book and he throws those charges at these two clowns, these evil people, he doesn't want anything to get in the way of the justice for those children especially. I do believe that this case has probably made Rob Wood actually feel like he has to do the best job of his entire life. The whole world is counting on Rob Wood. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue and go over these documents. And so I'm going to have my daughter read the rest of this document for a little bit.
All discovery currently in Special Prosecutor Rob Wood's possession in connection to these cases has been produced. When updated or new discoverable reports are received, they will be given over to both defendants on an ongoing basis. Since the investigation's inception, numerous items of evidentiary value have been collected, many of which are suitable for forensic analysis and testing. The reports reflecting the seizure of these items have been produced to the defense. One specific report documenting the seizure of the tools in question was provided in a July 29, 2020 discovery disclosure to the defense, Bates stamped as Vallow Daybell 006828. Given testing and processing backlogs at forensic laboratories, the lengthened nature of testing of some items with potential evidentiary value, and the impact of COVID-19 on staffing and resources, some testing is ongoing and remains outstanding. As results are received, they will be produced to the defense. On April 12, 2021, the state received the results of DNA analysis of debris found on tools that were seized from Chad Daybell's property. The state also learned that some samples obtained from the examined items were possibly suitable for DNA analysis, but that those samples were of such size and quantity that the testing process itself would consume the entirety of the samples. On April 18, 2021, the state received another report from the state lab regarding a possible blood sample from an apartment that would require some consumptive testing to test the DNA. On April 21, 2021, the state sent the above-mentioned lab results to the defense in a discovery disclosure, and also sent a letter giving the defense notice that the state intended to ask the state lab to perform consumptive testing. Both defendants wrote the state and told the state they objected to this without their experts having a chance to review the materials. On the morning of April 22, 2021, both defendants filed motions. On that same day, the state sent the defense an email informing them that due to their request, the state would not immediately seek the consumptive testing and asked the defense to send the state the names of their experts within 14 days. The state offered to facilitate the defense experts access to and examination of the samples in question. The state is entitled to test such items of evidentiary value as it believes necessary to achieve a fair and just result. Forensic testing is common in the criminal justice system. The state is not required to perform any specific tests, but may elect to do testing it believes necessary. Further, the state must disclose reports and exculpatory documents in its possession under Idaho Rule of Criminal Procedure 16 and Brady v. Maryland. The defendants are allowed to examine evidence in the state's possession as they prepare their defense. Response and conclusion. The state acted in good faith and notified the defense counsel of the likelihood that evidentiary samples in its possession would be consumed once subjected to testing. The state has no objection to the defense experts examining the items and evidence within a reasonable timeline established by the court. The state has a certified and accredited forensic laboratory ready and able to perform analysis once the defense examination of the samples in question has been completed, at no cost to either party. Further, should the defense experts be able to arrange an appropriate protocol for observing the testing procedures agreeable to the state's experts, the state will agree to the specified experts observing the testing process and procedure. The state further does not object to the preservation of any DNA samples sufficient in size to not be consumed by testing. Therefore, the state requests that the defense motions involving the motion to oppose use of and preserve DNA samples, motion for photographic record of serology and other visual samples, and motion for laboratory record be denied in part and granted in part as outlined herein. Dated this 27th day of April, 2021.
So my daughter did a good job with that. She probably did better than I did. But that was Amber Wilson. I love her. Thank you, Amber, so much for doing that for us. So I was running out of time trying to figure all this out and get this uploaded along with the part 10 that I haven't even had time to finish putting details on. So in the comments below, what do you think police found? So we do know that they did mention tools, though they didn't mention specifics. So what kind of tools would you find evidence on? So it makes you wonder if it's something like shovels, backhoes, any kind of dismemberment type tool, perhaps tape. And so this evidence would definitely be applied to then if there's upgraded charges anytime soon, this evidence also can be used. Let's hope that Scott will do a video on this and let us know, the legal aspects of this. But anyways, they did a Zoom hearing today. I didn't have time to catch that. Perhaps Scott will also have something on that, guys. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and try to cut this short right here because I've been working so hard to just try to get that one video up. Fingers crossed, we do see justice coming soon for Tammy Daybell because we haven't had a chance to talk about her. We know that the autopsy results are still in lockdown. We never even heard if her children were able to even get any type of just a whisper of results. We know that they were trying to get results and they felt like they had the right to know, but nothing's been said so far, unless I missed it somewhere, because I have been struggling lately. So anyways, guys, I love you guys, miss you guys. I'm trying to get back. And just don't forget, leave your comments or whatever you think about this new evidence or hint of evidence that is available now. See you guys soon.